I'm just a girl and I love going to coffee shops. I love a little coffee shop food, okay? But ever since I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this at home, we're gonna save some coins, we're gonna shed some pounds. I haven't really been going to coffee shops like that. I've been enjoying making my coffee at home, but I kind of started missing like the foods, like the little in the little glass case or whatever. So I was okay. I need to figure out how to make these. So we're gonna go through the best recipes that I've come up with to get that little fix from a little coffee shop food, okay? Like a little snacky snack. I wouldn't say I have a favorite, but I will say that I would put all of these recipes up head to head with their originals, and I do feel like I will win. Like, that's how confident I am in what I have made. Because, like, I see a lot of foods online and they look pretty. I feel like mine don't always look as pretty, but the taste is 10 out of 10 always. Like, I'm not going to be out here snacking on something that don't taste right. Those are for the liars of the internet. That's not me. I'm your girl, and I would never lie to you. So, for all of the recipes I do have, I think the only thing that I have not perfected is a cake pop. But it's because I'm not a cake person for real. Like, it's cool, but I would have to make a cake to turn it into a cake pop. So, if you know how to do that, let me know. Like, what's a good, like, low cal or low sugar cake recipe? It don't have to be gluten free. I know a lot of people, like, when they make content like this, they're gluten free. I'm not. So, if it's got flour or everything, it's fine. If it doesn't have flour, I'll be okay. But almond flour kind of got that texture sometimes. So I just don't feel like it would make a good cake. I don't know. So anyway, let's get into these recipes. Okay, we have here our rested dough. How is she? She's not too tacky. She's bouncing back. There's no yeast in this. That's just the gluten that's making it bounce back, but we're gonna see. So I'm gonna take a little piece of this dough. I'm gonna put it in my little cast iron. Okay, so I got it in the pan, and I think I wanna do like a par bake. Let's poke these holes in it. Hold on. Okay, I'm not really sure how many eggs to get in here. So I'm just gonna start with 2. And if I feel like I need to do more, I will. Jeez, see, being on camera is so embarrassing. Like, I don't never get no shell in my stuff. I'm a professional. Yeah, so we're gonna do 2 eggs. I might throw some cottage cheese in here. I'm gonna salt this, but not too heavy because I did put salt in the crust too. Let me check on it. It look okay. I kind of want it to get a little crispy. Do a little splash of heavy cream. That's what I usually use, but this is just an experiment. I'm not experimenting with the eggs. I'll experiment with these later. So we're just gonna do what we usually do. Cause like I don't want to change too many variables and then it end up being just disgusting. So I think that'll be fine, just like that. I don't really know what to put in here for toppings, but I wanted to like do a couple of things so I can make sure I liked how it is. Usually I just do ham and cheese. Didn't have any ham, so I had some sliced, what's this, roast beef? Went ahead to use that, so I'm just gonna get that sectioned in. And I also didn't have a block of cheese. I only had American cheese slices. Gonna go ahead and do that in there. And it just felt right to put something green in there, so I just put up the little spinach that I had sitting in the refrigerator. I really don't have any preferences when it comes to like a specific type of quiche, but I'm just learning that like everybody doesn't know quiches. Like I've been eating quiches my whole life. they're really just an egg pie. Like, you don't have to preserve them for any special occasion. I make them all the time. I am taking my time just pouring this egg mixture in because I want it to like settle into the cracks of the toppings. I didn't want it to just like sit on top and spill. That's just because of how I put this in there. I really could have put the toppings in after I put the egg. Like I said, it's a quiche and they're really not hard to make. They're really, really hard to mess up, I promise. So we just start cooking this off. And since I've not done it this small, I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it. Don't open the oven too much. Just kind of like jiggle it around like once or twice. I have truly outdone myself because I would like to present to you a healthier alternative to a quiche. And granted, quiches are just it. But crust, yeah, she has a crust on her. I haven't tried it, but I already know it's gonna be fire. That's a crust. I did it. Now I'm being very intentional right now. This says American scones. These are not scones from like the UK. Those are just biscuits here in America, okay? These are the coffee shop scones. Like, I know Starbucks has like that vanilla bean one, and it's like as small as my pinky. I don't know why they're so tiny. Anyway, I love a good scone. I'm always scared when I make them, but they always turn out fine. They're just a little tedious. So when I was like, okay, let me try swapping out the flour, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work because I know like there's not a lot of gluten supposed to be like in a biscuit and stuff. That's how you like get it tough. So I was like, okay, maybe this will be fine if I bake it gluten-free. Well, I don't know if it's gluten-free. I know it is no flour. That's the only thing I know that has gluten in it. But yeah, I'm doing both no flour and no sugar. And technically no butter either. So it's just like, woo, I was a little nervous. And you know, I never put the recipe on the screen because I feel like nobody wants to like write down the recipe as they're like right before they're cooking. But if y'all would like to see written out on the screen what ingredients or like how much I put, let me know if that's what y'all would rather have, because I do have them on my blog, which I have tagged, or I'll just write it out in the description if I did not make a blog post for it. Usually if I'm just throwing a recipe together, I don't even bother putting in the blog post for real. But you know, I'm here to help you cook, so whichever way you would rather see it, you gotta let me know, because I am somebody like, I'm very strict about the mise en place. You don't know what that means? It just means like get all your ingredients together before you start cooking, because that was one of those things I was not doing, and I swear it makes cooking so much harder. So that's why you see all this junk on my counter as I get started. It's all there because I'm about to use all of these ingredients right now, but they're all like within arm's reach. I don't have to turn around and go through 15 cabinets unless like I forget something, which I do all the time. But if you're like, okay, I wanna do like a cook along, and you wanna like put ingredients in the bowl as I'm doing it, that's perfectly fine. You just have to let me know if that's something you're into, because I haven't been putting the ingredients on the screen. But you know, you can kind of just see what I'm dumping in there and then correlate it at the bottom later on. You know, it's a learning experience, I know, but when you start getting comfortable cooking like I am, a lot of times you're not measuring. When I bake, I measure. So since I've never like put this together, I am kind of measuring so that I can write down what I'm doing. But on an average day, yeah, I'm just dumping it and going on my way, okay? And I was a little nervous with this, I am not gonna lie, because this dough is so sticky, but I was like, I really do not want to add any more almond flour, so I'm just gonna wing it right here. So the easiest way to kind of like deal with the dough that's kind of like more damp than you think it should be is to just wet your hands. I didn't really think I even needed to wet my hands, like I just kind of kept going from right here, but just patting it into the disc shape like you would for scones. I really don't know why it's a circle. Honestly, I could have put this in a rectangle and cut it from there, but I didn't. I just, stuck to what I know, honestly. And you do want to make sure you like give the pre-cuts with this before you bake it in the oven. Kind of just like, I would say like 4, maybe get them into 6 different cuts. You do that before you put it in the oven so that it can be like cooking on all sides and not like leveling up like a little dough or whatever. But yeah, I will say about this, they're not very sweet on their own. If you do want them sweeter, you're going to have to sweeten the dough more. But I ended up making a glaze, which I didn't show. But we tore these things up, okay? Like, tore them down. But yeah, like fake sugar, as I call it, some powdered fake sugar, and a little bit of lemon juice makes a great glaze to go on top of these. Now, the internet's new obsession with the scallion pancake, I was very late for. I had my first scallion pancake breakfast wrap at a matcha coffee bar. But yeah, so these things are kind of thick. I think the other ones I usually see on the internet, they're kind of thin. Mine was not thin, it was very chunky. So I made the scallions first, and then like I tried to just like make an omelet style egg because I wanted it to like stick together. But I will be completely honest with you, I didn't check nobody's recipe. I was making this up as I went. Oh, and I didn't show it, but make sure you add some blended cottage cheese into them eggs. You want to up that protein content, baby, okay? I did have some sausage with this, so, we got a little meat in, but, just throw cottage cheese in here and there. It really helps. I do feel like this here may be a bit niche. I don't know if every chain has like those little energy balls or energy bites or whatever they call them at your coffee shop. I know a lot of them don't, but if you go to like one of those like really small, like barely a chain ones, I've seen them there. And I just had an idea because I made the cinnamon roll that was with the sweet potato dough. Remember that like protein one I made? I did that and I was like, I bet you I could turn these into a protein bite. So I can get that same kind of flavor without, having to cook them, because those tasted so good. I wouldn't even say they were labor intensive. They actually were pretty easy to make. But with this, I could just always have them on hand, because when you make energy balls, you don't have to cook them. So you're just mixing them together, and like when you're having a craving, or you just like you need a little bit more protein, or you want a little sweet treat, just go and grab one of these bad boys. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I think I'm gonna switch to vegan protein powder. Does anybody know a good vegan protein powder? I don't think me and the whey get along, and I kind of knew that. Like, I know I've always kind of had a problem with dairy, but I'm scared to go to the plant-based ones, because I tried one years ago, like a long time ago, and it just felt like I was drinking concrete. It was so bad. So if you have a good recommendation, honestly, even if you know a good like non-vegan protein powder, I just need another protein powder, because these are just the ones like you can find quickly, and those are usually the worst, because this ain't it. Oh, and to sweeten this and give it a little bit more structure, I am adding a combination of sugar-free pancake syrup and a sugar-free coffee syrup. I did that because I feel like the sugar-free pancake syrup doesn't have as much flavor. I think this one is like a little buttery, but not for real. This coffee syrup, that's the whole point, is that it's flavorful. So I thought it would pair well, because it's like a cinnamon dulce. I thought that would pair well with the whole like sweet potato pie aspect of these. But yeah, make sure you're adding your extracts, because you really want those flavors to come out. We don't want stuff to just look cute. We want it to taste good. And using flavoring extracts is a great way to go, because you're not dealing with all of the calories you would get from some of the actual flavors, or some of the sweeteners that you would use in place to like, kind of replicate those flavors. You're just gonna see me adding these ingredients in slowly until I get the consistency that I want. It's important, I feel, to not dump them in because you don't want to put too much of anything and then they'll just be off and you can't do anything about it. So just slowly add the ingredients in until you get a texture that you can ball up.